to order at 6:02. Please be advised that this meeting is 6:02. Oh my God, make it stop. Thank you. Please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and the recording may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Report of actions taken in closed session, none. Attendance roll call, President Rothberg Allen here. Clerk Reed. Trustee Lopez Jones. Trustee Rios. Here. Trustee Gonzalez. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. District mission statement for the last time. No? Yes? Yes. We're a collaborative, culturally rich educational community where a rigorous and innovative curriculum prepares our students to be successful contributors to our global society. Public business from the floor, non-agenda items. This portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the board on any item regarding board business that is not on the agenda. Without taking action or entering into a dialogue with the public, board members may briefly respond to statements made or ask clarifying questions about topics posed by the public. Your matter may be referred to administration. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Okay. Well, we are buzzing through this. Information, cost of insurance, Maureen. Oh, issuance, sorry, I said insurance. I know, it's just so speedy.
We have passed another bond in our school district to continue in our construction projects. And we sold right at the beginning of June. We just received our funds, I think, on Thursday or Friday. And what this tells us is the cost of issuance of those funds. So we had some estimated costs before we went out and sold the bonds. And then the actual cost of issuance needs to be reported to the board. This was our $14.5 million bond sale, and the total cost of issuance was $216,824. $216,824. Trying to go too fast. And this is an information item only.
All right, any questions? All right, presentations, 24-25 LCAP survey results.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm a little unorganized right now. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is our LCAP survey results. At the last board meeting, I presented on our annual update, and I had this as a slide and somehow I missed it. And so I just thought I'd bring it back. It was attached, but I thought I would go over it publicly just as we move forward, because part of it is related to our adoption of the LCAP as well. So this is attached to the board agenda. So we had 577 responses this year, which is a decrease from last year of 640. And this is a conversation we've been having of how do we get more families and more students and more staff to actually respond to the surveys? Sometimes it feels like we're survey overload, and so we need to kind of think about what surveys we're putting out. With that said, what do stakeholders think about our progress towards each goal? 84% of our stakeholders felt that we were making progress towards goal 1. 83% felt we were making progress towards goal 2. And 79% felt that we were making progress towards goal 3. Related to goal 1, which is academics, the 3 major areas that we want to focus on is more collaboration and prioritization with all stakeholders on the implementation of our school and district initiatives. So knowing that we're all in it, whether it's regarded to structured literacy, professional learning communities, and we're all part of the conversation and supporting the work. Second is a variety of enrichment activities to address advanced learners for students that are above the standard. And that's been an ongoing conversation for the past 3 years. And then more systematic, inclusive practices and tailored support strategies to address the diverse student needs within our classrooms. In regarding school environment, there was varying stakeholder feedback regarding safety at both school sites. So we want to explore and improve students' sense of safety because there's a disconnect between what the students are saying and what our parents and our staff are saying. We need for improvement for both sites regarding incorporating more non-academic activities such as sports, clubs, enrichments. And so those are conversations we're having. And then student results demonstrate a need for improved overall school community, connectedness, and a sense of belonging. And so this is really in line with our work with Transcend in figuring out how are we supporting our students so that they have a sense of belonging and they feel connected at our schools. And then regarding parent engagement, use of communication tools like Parent Square need to be improved to streamline our messaging. So we're exploring options for effective and essential communication. We're exploring additional options for communication to meet the varying needs of our community because we want to make sure that we're putting out messages. But again, we don't want to be overloaded with the messages that are coming out. We did receive positive feedback regarding the many opportunities for parent and guardians to get involved in the school community. And we've received positive feedback regarding parent-teacher communication, but parent engagement is always something that we're working on, and you can see it in our local indicator results, that it's something that we want to work on in terms of co-defining what parent engagement looks like specifically in Calistoga schools, because it's different in every community, and we want to make sure that families weigh in on what parent engagement looks like here, as well as staff, and then we come to a common agreement on what that looks like. So those are our results.
I think I've mentioned this before, but could we do next year, like fill out the LCAP survey and get pizza or, like an event
Yes, we
to
can-
get
yes.
people to, so it's not getting buried in the parent square?
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
it's really important that families fill out the LCAP. And I think that there may be some,
Well, I think another option could be thinking about attaching it to an event we're already having.
Yeah.
We know a lot of families are coming. So like if we have our student performance or a student event where we know our parents are here, figuring out a way how we can bridge that as well and doing multiple opportunities.
when I think educating parents maybe as they enter the district on how important the LCAP is and how we look at the survey results and we have multiple meetings where we discuss it, I think that gets kind of lost for people as to what it is even. Anyways, okay. Anyone else? Thank you. 7.2 local indicators to the dashboard.
So these, I have to report in its own separate item, but all of this is reported within the LCAP. And so the local indicators are things that the state doesn't have metrics to measure themselves. We actually have to report the information. So the first one is related to number of teachers that are assigned appropriately. And as I've already reported, we have 62 total FTEs for teaching, of which 52 are clear and appropriately assigned.
Could you speak more into the microphone?
Sorry, yes. Sorry. 6 are considered out of field, but those are our teachers who are teaching in the 5th and 6th grade who are departmentalized, which we have taken a concerted effort to do that. So we know that that is going to be different. And then we have 1 intern who's finishing up their credential. I believe their class ended last Friday. And then the other, it states ineffective. We talked about this last year. It's not really that they're ineffective. It's that their credential doesn't quite align to what it's supposed to be. And so it is the only bucket that that teacher can go in. In relationship to instructional materials, 100% of our students receive their instructional materials. In relationship to implementation of state standards, we are either full implementation or full implementation and sustainability with the exclusion of history and social science. And part of that is because we just had an adoption at our last meeting. And we have another adoption tonight for a different history and social studies. Other adopted academic standards were full implementation and sustainability related to career technical ed, health education, physical education, visual and performing arts, and world languages. And And then the final portion was regarding building relationships between school staff and families. And this is exactly what we've been talking about, that for the most part, we are 4 and 5 full implementation and full implementation with sustainability. But there are still areas that we can improve upon in terms of figuring out what does engagement look like with our families and making sure that we're able to meet the needs of our families and our families also understand our needs as a school. To your point about the LCAP and understanding the importance of it. So how do we come together and make sure that we can reach 100% of our families? And that's the report.
Any questions? All right, we're on to reports. 8.1 Calistoga Associated Teachers.
There we go. Good evening. Eric Heights, Vice President of CAT. Just a couple thank yous more than anything. I'd like to thank the district for sharing in the end of the year staff party for the entire district. We had a meeting, well, it was a meeting, I guess we could say, and then a social afterwards. And so the district and CAT teamed up on the cost of the food and drinks, and well represented and had good raffle prizes, which I actually got the first one. That was exciting to bring something home.
Seems rigged.
I didn't look so great in the sun hat, but my wife's been enjoying it, so that's a good thing. And then also a thank you for the negotiation sessions. We are tonight ratifying contracts, so that's a good positive moving forward. And the whole situation with moving out of the condos and into the new building and all the hassle that goes along with that. It's been a good coordinated effort to get support on that. Moving forward to open the new buildings and have the packing done and the moving of all the science equipment. It's been a big undertaking. And so it's been a good positive support that we've had working together on some of those issues that are definitely a struggle, but important for our staff and our community as well. So that's all for tonight. And thanks again for the coordinated efforts that we've been working together on. So.
Thank you. 8.2 Classified School Employee Association. 8.3 Director of Facilities, Maintenance and Operations.
Hello. So we had a report from Ray 2 weeks ago, but there's a lot going on, so we got more to update on. The STEM building is ready for move-in. We're working out some additional storage needs for our teachers, but I think they're pretty excited to get in their new space. We have a few small projects remaining related to that project. One is we're going to do some decomposed granite pathways in the junior high garden, or Jeremy Groves Science Class Garden. We're going to add some safety railings over at the corner of Grant Street and Lake. And then as part of the construction of the STEM building, we ended up having to abandon the sewer line for the wood shop. We're going to be adding that and connecting it to a new location as part of this. Portables are still scheduled to be decommissioned starting on the 23rd. They should be moved out around the end of the month, and then Landmark will come through and reestablish the grass in that area. The classroom conversions are still scheduled to start on Monday. The moves associated with those two projects will start on Wednesday, the 18th. Although 95% of the science classrooms have been moved over. We had movers out last week. Taking care of that today. We had our environmental company out to relocate all the science chemicals into the new location. Fire alarms upgrade started today. Parts have been ordered for rekeying of this site. I don't have an ETA on when that'll start, but it'll be nice to have one set of keys instead of a whole big set of keys. Fields are moving along as planned. We're still expecting to be ready for our first homecoming game in September. This last week, all the footings were drilled for the scoreboard as well as the lights. So it'll be pretty interesting to see all those go up pretty soon. The holes are pretty huge. They're about 50 inches in diameter and about 20 feet deep. So those light poles aren't going anywhere. For the TK building, all the non-DSA work is completed, which is basically the work that Ray reported on for Silver Street. We're still in DSA and CGS, but as of an update a few hours ago, we're almost at the finish line, it sounds like. And then the generators, the permits are, we got the permits from the Bay Area Air Quality Management District, and we're working on the design and the locations for the concrete pads for those. Any questions?
All great news.
Yeah, exciting. Thank you. 8.4, Director of Educational Services and Human Resources.
All right, good evening. Last meeting of the year. I have a brief report tonight. I want to start off with a definition of gratitude that I think fits the night well. Gratitude is the intentional practice of recognizing and appreciating people, experiences, and conditions that make our lives and our work meaningful. And as we close out the year, I want to express my gratitude to the board for your vision and support, to the superintendent for always guiding with thoughtfulness and clarity, to our district managers and site principals for their day-to-day leadership, to our classified staff, certificated, classified, and confidential, who serve our students and families with professionalism, care, and resilience. I say especially confidential. We talk about our staff a lot, and we don't often talk about our confidential staff. We have great confidential staff in this district. I also want to express my gratitude for our labor partners, particularly the CAT and CSEA presidents, for their commitment to solving problems, both big and small. I'm grateful for the facilities, supports, and services we're able to offer our students, which are the result of many people working together with a shared sense of purpose. And I feel like I say this at the end of every year, but I mean it, and I'll say it again. I end the year feeling hopeful, feeling energized about the next year to come, right? Every year is an opportunity for us to build on the good work that we've done, for us to strive to be better in what we do, I think individually as educators and collectively to be better for our students and our families. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? 8.5, Superintendent.
Thank you, everyone. So this is the Monday after all of our promotions and graduations, and I just want to say that all of them went off very well. They were beautiful, well attended by our families. Very exciting to see the students excited about their next step and their next journey. I want to thank the principals as well as the teachers at each grade level who worked with our students who gave their speeches. Watching our students stand up in front of hundreds of people and read their speeches in the way that they did, both in English and in Spanish for some. But it was just awe-inspiring to see our students have the confidence and the ability to articulate their views and their vision for their future and their collaboration with their classmates. So it was exciting to see all of them at various levels. I'm excited to announce that our Invent team has been selected for the Young Leaders of the Year Award from the Calistoga Community Awards.
Yay.
So they will be honored a week from today at Calistoga Inn. There's 3 or 4 other awards, but our students and Miss Brooks will be there to accept their awards. So we're excited to celebrate them again. Tomorrow, I am taking 4 of our students to an event where their candidate, I think he's a senator, Josh Newman, is now going to be running for state superintendent of public instruction. And he is holding a meeting to get input from students as well as board members and superintendents. And so I'm taking 4 of our juniors and seniors with me for them to be able to answer his questions and give their opinions about education in California and what they think he should be doing should he be elected as the next state superintendent.
Where is that?
It'll be held at the Winters Community Center.
Oh, okay.
I'm excited to announce that the County of Napa and Napa County Office of Ed received a partnership with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. So they're going to be kicking that off on Wednesday. Part of that partnership, there will be opportunities for us to have events at our schools and for all of our families to receive books both in English and in Spanish to go home free of charge. So it's I'm pretty excited about that. I just happen to be a huge fan of Dolly Parton and her Imagination Library because she's
Come and give the.
I wish that she was going to be here on Wednesday. I don't think that she is, but that would be really exciting. I need 2 things from you all tonight. We do need to have one more meeting, Michael. I'm sorry.
So
Next,
say that again next.
yes.
week.
Next week, because CSCA, we have a tentative agreement with them, but they have a different process and they're not able to vote on it till this week, which is why their agreements are not on this agenda. And so I wanted to see your availability on either next Wednesday or next Thursday.
Right now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Right now, Stephanie,
Both days are fine with me.
uh. Wednesday. Oh, or at what time?
We can do 5 o'clock.
Then Thursday's fine.
Does Thursday work for everyone?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, Thursday at 5 p.m. And then the other thing that I need from you is we're gonna do a STEM ribbon cutting ceremony. I had thrown out some dates. They don't work for everybody, and so I'm gonna put 2 more dates out there. And so it's up to you all, because obviously I'd like all 5 of you to be there. August 30th, the issue with August 30th is it leads into Labor Day weekend, or we can put it off a week and do September 6th. Either will work.
August 30 or September 6th.
It's a Saturday morning and it would be from 10 to noon.
I would say the 6th, just because not having it on a holiday weekend would be nice. Not that I'm going anywhere, but the community members might be. I don't know.
Yeah, I can do either one. But yeah, I think the 6th will get more.
Okay,
Yeah.
Rudy? Okay, so then we'll go with the 6th,
Okay.
That's 10 to 12, you said?
10 to 12 a.m. And we'll send out a save the date as well.
Okay.
Okay, that's my report.
Okie dokie. Any questions? All right. Consent agenda. Actions proposed for the consent agenda are deemed routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless any member of the board, the audience, or staff requests specific items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second. Thank you, Rudy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. This is a roll call vote. President Rothberg Allen, aye. Clerk Reed,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez Jones, Trustee Gonzalez, Trustee Rios.
Aye.
All right, action items. Protocol for action items includes a staff presentation, questions from the board, public input, deliberation by the board, and voting by the board. During public input, there will be a 3-minute time limit per person. 10.2, adoption of the 25-26 budget.
So I have a request. Can we move what item, Maureen? Well, I want to move the food services. At 10.8, or sorry, 10.9. Yes.
So, sorry, can you,
So we need a motion to move 10.27 to make it 10.1.
I will so move.
all in favor?
Aye.
So 10.19 is 10.27. I'm gonna get this mixed up. I'm
10.27 is now 10.1.
gonna mess up.
That's okay. I got it.
So,
No, we're gonna start with the budget and we'll.
okay, you're still on, Maureen. Despite your
Nice
change.
try.
Yeah.
You're going to hear me a lot tonight, I'm sure. Okay, so the 25-26 budget adoption, all of the updates have been made since our budget hearing. We've had a lot of changes happen. We've had negotiation settlements. So I went ahead and just made all those changes in the budget. So originally in the adoption hearing, we had a 2.3% in salary only. Now salaries have been increased by 2%. With a 0.48% increase to health and welfare benefits. We did have books and supplies increased by 91,000. That's for some maintenance projects. We had to also increase our contribution we were making to maintenance because we weren't meeting that 3% that we need to make as a state requirement on all to maintain all of our facilities. And then the original budget document, the hearing that we had the presentation on, there was a glitch with Escape and Saks. And so the benefits were overstated. So I've fixed that. And in the end, by fixing everything that needed to be fixed and putting in the new salary arrangements, we are at deficit spending of $118,890, which is up from the $82,230 in our restricted spending. So that's pretty much the difference between the 2.3 salary percent increase and the 2.48 that we actually settled with. About $36,000, I think. Other than that, all the LCAP expenditures have also been updated, so we'll talk about that next, but that's pretty much the only changes that were made. And the new presentation with all the updated figures are attached to this agenda item. I just was not going to go through the whole presentation again. I know you're also happy about that.
Not me. I love that presentation. All right. So can I have a motion that the 25-26 budget be adopted as presented?
So moved. So moved.
Laurel, okay. Indira, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is a roll call vote. President Rothberg Allen, aye. Clerk Reed,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez Jones, Trustee Rios, Trustee Gonzalez. All right, 10.3, 25-26, local accountability plan, LCFF budget overview for parents and supplement to annual budget for the 24-25 local control accountability plan.
So the bulk of the LCAP is the same as what I presented at our last meeting. The major changes that occurred from the public hearing till now is on the metrics. It had previously stated just not met. I added language that said progress made because it is a 3-year goal like I described last time. So I didn't want it to look like we just weren't making any progress because we were. So on the goals that we have not met the metrics, but we are moving in that direction, I added language that said progress made. And I think that's helpful for people to see that we are showing growth. And then we rewrote goal 4 to reflect a growth target over a benchmark measurement for student attendance in Palisades. So the new goal reads, by June of each year, the attendance rate at Palisades will increase by 3% from the previous year, while we increase the ratings of students on connection and community and whole child elements of the LEAP survey. And this is after we had conversations with staff in recognizing that the students that attend Palisades they have a higher mobility rate. It's not the same students, and they usually have attendance issues at the comprehensive school. And so we want to make sure that we're showing that by going to Palisades, they have an improvement.
All right, can I have a motion to adopt the 25-26 local control accountability plan?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Roll call. President Rothberg Allen, aye. Clerk Reed,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez Jones, Trustee Rios, Trustee Gonzalez. 10.4, approve new district mission statement and tagline.
So I'm not going to read through everything. We've been, because it's here on the agenda. We've spent the entire year collecting data, gaining information, both in person from meetings with community members, meetings with students, meetings with staff, as well as pulling survey data and drafting language. We then, our design team took the words and everything that everybody had submitted, and we narrowed it down to 4. And then within those 4, we narrowed it down to 2. We put them out for a vote. And the 58% of those who voted on mission statement number 1. And 60% of those who voted picked tagline number 1. And so I am asking the board to approve the new tagline, which is empowering students, building futures, and the new mission statement of at Calistoga, we empower students to graduate with respect, empathy, integrity, and the skills needed for success in life and work. We provide a supportive, inclusive environment where students gain essential academic knowledge, critical thinking abilities, and real-world skills. Our goal is to ensure all students feel a sense of belonging, are prepared for future opportunities, and graduate with pride, resilience, and a passion for lifelong learning.
All right, well, I'm excited for the new tagline and mission statement. So thank you for everyone who helped bring that to the board. Can I have a motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10.5, dual language immersion.
We have two public comments regarding this item. So would Elizabeth Tangney, I apologize. I know I get it wrong every time.
Hello. Here again. Just wanted to say a few words. First, I wanted to thank you all for your exploration into dual immersion. I think you've done an incredibly thoughtful process. And as a parent and community member, I feel heard and valued and represented by this board. So I very much appreciate that. I look forward to the implementation of dual immersion in our schools next year. And I wanted to take the last opportunity to encourage you to vote yes for this program and to encourage you to vote yes and reach as many students as possible, including kindergarten and first grade in year 1 of implementation. So let's do it.
And next we have Claire Weinkoff.
And me again.
As well.
Good evening. I probably gonna be a little repetitive, but I really want to take a minute to acknowledge the incredible job that the board and the district have done in exploring the dual immersion. Thank you so much for listening to the parents of the community and taking our request for dual immersion seriously and increase Spanish instruction, not just dual immersion. I think there is a request for both things. We do believe it can change life, again, from enhanced cognitive abilities to stronger academic achievement, deeper cultural awareness, and social connection. We believe this program will be an incredible asset for the children who are able to access it. So please vote yes. Again, thank you so much for your time, for investing and researching seriously the program.
Is there anybody else in the audience that has a comment? Okay, then we'll move forward with our discussion. So what I have posted on the board agenda, so as you can see, it says you'll consider 3 options based on the work that we've done over the course of the year, as well as our 2 board study sessions. I've presented 3 options for you to consider to meet the needs of the requests of our families that want more Spanish instruction. That's what this comes down to, is our families want our students to have more Spanish instruction. And there are 3 models that I presented to you at our last board study session, along with possible costs that are associated with those. And so the first is dual language immersion, which is what our families concretely asked for. The second is to hire an additional Spanish teacher because it would give an opportunity to give Spanish to all grade levels versus starting at a lower grade. And then the third is to provide Spanish in our after school or before school program through extended learning. So you can discuss the 3 options. The idea is you vote on none, 1, 2, combination. It's obviously up to you. I just want to remind everyone that I've attached what an implementation plan would look like for all 3 of those models. For dual language immersion, if you choose to go that route, next year would be a planning year and it would not roll out until 26-27. There are 2 options there, one to roll it out at just kindergarten and one to roll it out at kindergarten and first grade. The second option is a Spanish teacher. If you choose to go that route, that too would not roll out till 26-27 because it's too late in the year to find a qualified individual to be that teacher next year. So we'd want to spend another year going out and recruiting to find somebody if you choose that path. And then the third is after school instruction, and that could feasibly start in the fall because we have people on staff as well as people in the community that could teach Spanish after school. And I presented either that could serve 24 students 4 days a week or 48 students 2 days a week during the school week. In looking at costs, I broke it down by year as a planning year, as well as year 1 through year 4. So a total of 5 years. And what the total cost would be for each one of those line items. And when you look at the cost, you're going to see that there's a range because it's not a concrete number, it's a moving figure. And so there are assumptions that I included in there. So for dual language immersion, the assumptions are we're using current staff. We're serving 24 students every day. It's optional for families. We phase in 1 grade level a year. We need a year of planning. And then the range is for professional development, $300 a day or up to 815, depending upon if we use a sub day or if we pay our teachers their per diem or daily rate. For a Spanish teacher, that would provide 40 minutes per week per grade level. The implication is that it would be optional for families. It could reduce the number of students that are in music. And we used a BA plus 60 step 4 to figure out that number, should we hire somebody. And then after school instruction, as I said, 24 to 48 students, and we used a range of $70 an hour to 115. And that's again based on whether or not we use their per diem or their $70 an hour. And just a reminder, we went over all of this at our last board study session. This isn't any new information. The only thing that's new is I provided a range of figures on the cost analysis.
Thank you.
So the team and I are here for questions. Otherwise, it's open for your discussion amongst each other.
I would just first like to say thank you so much to the district staff and teachers and everyone involved in the district who provided input in this process. I know it has been difficult and challenging and frustrating, but I think we've made a lot of progress over the past year. And I'd especially like to thank all the families that have provided input and have come to board meetings and have really spoken up for what they want for this district. It's really, for me as an elected official, it's my job to hear what the community wants. And I've really appreciated all the input that the community's provided through this process. It's really rewarding for me to see people come to meetings and communicate what they want from us, because that's our job. So thank you so much to those in the audience who have come meeting after meeting to provide input on this. And at least for me, I've received the message that this community wants more Spanish, and that's really important that we address that.
I personally am ready to make a motion if I am able to.
Sure.
Is everyone else ready? No other input? Okay, please go ahead.
I would like to make a motion that we pursue option 2, early launch with first grade, going hand in hand also with offering after school Spanish implementation for the older grade levels.
Do you mean implementation with K and first?
Yeah, the 2-year rollout.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
K1.
Yep. Okay. And provide the ELOP program.
Yes.
Okay. Second.
Yeah, so option 2, the early launch with first grade, K and 1. And then also offer the after-school Spanish curriculum for the older students who will not be able to participate in the dual immersion class.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Oh,
I agree. I think that we need to address what the community is saying, and that to me, it's the community wants dual immersion, and then there's going to be students who are not going to be part of the program and that are not going to have the ability to be part of the program, older students, and having the ELOP program helps address that angle as well. So I personally agree.
And I think the Spanish teacher option would be nice if we didn't have the other options, but 40 minutes per class per
yeah,
per
it's
week,
not enough. And the cost alone is
Oh,
a lot.
And they lose music potentially.
and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking away music from some.
Start right away, we need to wait 1 more year.
Yeah.
For that Spanish.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right.
Say your vote, don't forget to.
Is this a roll call or?
No.
Okay. So we have Laurel's motion, Indira's second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Tomorrow, we will work on communication to staff as well as our families to talk about what implementation is going to look like. Again, based on what you are telling us to do, next year will be a planning year for dual language immersion. With us looking to roll it out in the 26-27 school year for kindergarten and first grade. And then we will also start planning to get people who are interested in doing Spanish instruction after school. And it could be somebody from the elementary school, it could be somebody from the junior, senior high school who teaches Spanish. And if we have no takers, then we would look out in the community for a private contractor.
Thank you. 10.6, Resolution 24-25-16 regarding the Education Protection Account.
Okay. This is an EPA resolution. It was passed with Prop 30 back in November of 2012. The resolution is necessary for, so the state knows that we're not using any of these Prop 30 funds for administrative salaries or administrative costs. This year we will receive $159,542, and all of this allocation is spent on teacher salaries and benefits. So that is the resolution you are signing, saying that we are spending the money the way we are supposed to be spending the money.
I move to approve the resolution as presented.
All in favor? Aye. Resolution 24-25-17 authorizing end of the year transfers.
This resolution allows the Director of Business Services to transfer dollars between funds for certain expenditures. This does happen a lot during the year-end process, where I might spend some expenses from the general fund and send them over to the capital outlay fund, or vice versa. We also transfer indirect costs from cafeteria, and we transfer contributions to cafeteria and capital outlay. So it's necessary for me to make transfers in between funds. And you're allowing me to do this by signing this resolution.
Can I have a motion? Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 24-25-18 authorization to sign on behalf of the Board of Trustees.
This resolution allows myself, Dr. Pittman, and Michael DeFrancesco to act on behalf of the Board of Trustees where signatures are required for specific documents like contracts, payroll, grant applications, state or federal applications, etc. This is an annual resolution and is required to come to the board annually for approval.
Can I have a motion? Second. Just so excited. Second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 24-25-19 adopting the Fabric of a Nation social science curriculum. Oh, Michael.
We're recommending the adoption of a new curriculum for AP US History. Miss Jeannie Heck is an experienced AP teacher, started teaching this class again this year and prompted a pilot of this curriculum. We fully support this curriculum, which is one of the main curriculums in the market. It's already with the publisher we have a relationship with. I think it will bring our AP curriculum up to date and better prepare our students for success on the AP exam. We bring this to you for approval.
Can I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the resolution as presented.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10.10 instructional continuity. Yes. Plan.
This is a new requirement by the state to include an instructional continuity plan with our school safety plan. It needs to be adopted by July 1st of 2025. And what it does is it ensures all students have access to instruction either in person or remotely during emergencies or natural disasters, and must be locally adopted by the governing board. And so what this does is outline, should we get evacuated? Should we have to close down school? What is it that we're going to do within 5 days to ensure that our kids have access to instruction? What are we going to do within 10 days? And if, God forbid, something happened to one of our buildings and we lose facilities, how are we communicating with other districts to help support our students? So it's required. And so this is, there's, God forbid we get to that situation, there's going to be some, different things that are going to come up, but it at least gives us a skeleton and a framework for us to know what our next steps are.
Can I have a motion? Thank you, Indira. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 24-2520, naming district representatives and authorizing participation in SAB administered programs.
This resolution allows Dr. Pittman and myself as well the authority to sign and file necessary Department of State architect documents for participation with the State Allocation Board administered programs. Some examples of this include applications for modernization funding, applications to OPSC for facility funding on projects such as the TTK classroom build.
Can I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 24-2521, interfund transfers resolution.
This is a little bit of a different resolution than the 10.7 action you took. This resolution allows the Director of Business Services to temporarily loan money to other funds within the district if needed, when that fund might be low in cash. This is quite common with our food services, Fund 13. The state sometimes is late with sending payments for previous month's reimbursements, but we still need to continue to buy food and pay staff, and therefore that results in low cash flow. NCOE does not let us pay bills with no cash in the fund, so sometimes it is necessary for us to do a temp loan into that fund or other funds if necessary. We do have to pay back the money within 120 days or at the end of the close of the fiscal year, whichever comes sooner.
Can I have a motion? Second,
Oh, go ahead.
Rudy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10.13, tentative agreement between Calistoga Joint Unified School District and the Calistoga Associated Teachers.
These are all of the tentative agreements reached this year between the district and CAT. We're excited to bring them to you. We have a long history of success at the bargaining table, though it is never a foregone conclusion. And I think these represent a willingness on the district's part and CAT's part to be optimistic, to be willing to compromise. And this is really the fruit of our labor at the table, working with labor. So we bring them to you for approval.
Can I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the tentative agreements with CAT as presented.
Second. Rudy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10.14, memorandum of understanding with Calistoga Associated Teachers regarding the implementation of a teacher in charge role.
Yes, this is an MOU for a teacher in charge role. This is not an unusual practice, but it's something that we in our district have not done or had an agreement to do. And this is when a teacher can take the role of the principal for the day, should both principals be off site. And we've experienced a number of these situations where this would be beneficial. And so we have an agreement to implement this next year. And this agreement outlines selection of that person and just related processes to this agreement.
Can I have a motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10.15, memorandum of understanding with Calistoga Associated Teachers regarding the union officer leave for CAP president for the 25-26 school year.
This is essentially the same agreement that we brought to you last year. We bring it to you this year with really just a new date on it. It is this agreement for the CAP president, Matt Gadinas, to take 10 to 20% of the year as leave to pursue union president duties. The cost of that leave would be reimbursed to the district by CAT. This is right that is afforded to the union president by law. We bring the agreement to you for approval.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10.16, disclosure for 25-26 Calistoga Associated Teachers.
This is a required public disclosure for the settlement with CAT. In addition to the 2.48% increase in salary and benefits that was negotiated, this AB 1200 requires us to list all compensation that will be received by CAT members for the 25-26 school year. Total compensation includes not only the 2% increase in salary and the 0.48% increase in benefits, but also the 1.2% increase in step and column, as well as the increase in payroll benefit costs to the district before we negotiated a higher cap.
Can I have a motion? All in favor?
Aye.
10.17, CAT salary schedules.
These are all the salary schedules that go along with the 2% increase that was negotiated and settled.
Can I have a motion?
that I had brought up about the junior varsity
Mm.
football coach. Why do they get paid more than the other coaches?
That's, so that number of compensation, that level of compensation has been there for a long, long time. The salary schedule does get updated with any other compensation increases, but it's not something we've really touched or addressed in my time here. I'm sure it's been there for at least 7 or 8 years. I think what's maybe made it less relevant is we've never had a JV team or coach. So it's never actually been implemented. So
Right.
maybe it's just been there and we haven't talked about it internally, honestly, or with Kat.
Yeah. It's just the pay difference between the other JV teams for the head coach is over $1,200. Whereas the difference for the varsity head coach versus varsity coaches for other sports is a little over $400. So it seems like a really big jump. So I don't quite understand if we're gonna have a junior varsity. I'm not saying they should get paid less. I'm just saying I don't understand why one sport gets paid more and then other sports get paid $1,200 less.
Yeah, and I don't know the history of when that was originated or why that decision was made. Like I said, it's never been applied because we've never had the sport.
Right.
What we can do, if you'd like, we can go back and negotiate that and try to understand collectively of what the history was. And if we need to change it, want to change it. I don't think it will have a practical input in 25, 26. We don't have any intent to have a junior varsity football team next fall.
Okay. I was just more curious than anything.
So can I have a motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10.18 disclosure, 2526 unrepresented units.
Our unrepresented units include certificated management, classified management, and confidential employees. As we as a group normally take a Me Too to what has been negotiated with CAT and or CSEA. Normally, this group decides to put all their entire Me Too increase into our salary schedules, but this year it actually worked out better for our employees to put 2% on the schedule and the 0.48% onto benefits. So we will be like the other bargaining units. Our cap will increase from $10,200 annually to $11,244 annually. Total cost for salary and benefit increases are $57,619.
Can I have a motion?
To approve the disclosure as presented.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So then I move to 10.20.
10.27, increasing
Oh,
the
okay.
number of days for food services director.
All right, 10.27. Increase food services directors' workdays.
We are requesting to increase the food service director's workdays from 220 per year to 225. This will assist with the summer feeding program, summer school as well. We have been a little short-staffed in food services, so it makes sense for her to be here and be able to serve as well during the summer. In addition, next year is a CDE full audit on our food service program, so I know those 5 extra days will be very well spent with her time prepping for an audit with the child nutrition program.
Can I have a motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10.19. Unrepresented salary schedules.
These are all the salary schedules related to the 2% increase for our unrepresented units and does include the extra 5 days for our food service director, which is why we needed to move it.
Can I have a motion? Rudy, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10.20 addendum to superintendent's employment agreement.
The superintendent has also participated in the Me Too agreements in the past, as well as this year. In fact, the only time the superintendent's contract has been increased is with the Me Too agreements. The superintendent has also decided to follow along with the other unrepresented units in the 2% salary increase and the 0.48% increase to her annual benefit contributions. So her benefits will also go up to $11,244 annually. Total cost of the 2% plus the 0.48 in benefits is $7,181.
Can I have a motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10.21 MOU with Hearts and Hands.
So we have, this is a continuation of an MOU agreement that we have with Hearts and Hands to provide our ELOP or Extended Learning Opportunities Program for our specifically TK students. A couple of changes that have been made specifically to this one moving forward is, besides changing to the 25-26 dates, is we've added language that Hearts and Hands will serve all TK students. This past year, we had more TK students that wanted it than was available in the space that they have at their facility. And so we have worked out an agreement. And so we had to move some of our students to Boys and Girls Club, which we don't want to do. We want all of our TKers to be in the same environment. And so we have come to an agreement that they will provide services for all of our TK students. If due to their space constraints, there is not enough room, they will be able to use our facility and they will continue to staff it. And then once it gets to 4 o'clock, which was when most of the TKers leave, they'll walk the remaining students back over to their facility. And then the other piece was there was some confusion around, normally if you attend Hearts and Hands, because it is a private preschool, they have an expectation that families help fundraise. But our families are exempt from that because they're participating through the Extended Learning Opportunities Program. So we put language on there that they are not expected or required to fundraise. Now, if they want to, that's great, but they will not be asked to and will not be required to. So those are two main changes on this agreement. Yeah, absolutely.
Can I have a motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. MOU with Boys and Girls Club of Calistoga.
So this is our Extended Learning Opportunities Program with the Boys and Girls Club. It's offered to kindergarten through 6th grade. One of the changes that we made with this one is we just put a flat out dollar amount of $100,000 instead of trying to track how many students. We still will track how many students. We're still required to take attendance, but we had it separate in terms of invoicing by the number of students, and we had a bucket to pay for another teacher because kindergarten has a different ratio than 1st through 6th grade. So we just lumped it all together to make it one easy contract. But all the services will be the same, and it will be kindergarten through 6th grade. And then the summer between TK and kindergarten, families can use the Boys and Girls Club because they will have completed a year of TK, a year of school formally with us.
Can I have a motion? Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10.23 MOU for General Services with Up Valley Family Center.
So this is just a continuation of our MOU with Up Valley Family Center, continuing our work for general services, which includes mental health. It's separate from our community schools grant, but it's a continuation of work we have done over the past 20 years.
Can I have a motion? Oh, okay. Can I have a motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Indira abstains. 10.24 MOU for CCSPP services with Up Valley Family Center.
So this is our agreement with Up Valley specifically related to our community schools program. And so this provides services again around mental health, whether it's Aldea, Mentis, as well as our youth services provider. And so this is separating it so that it's one bucket specifically related to our community schools partnership program.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye.
And then I did want to say that this is the 4th year of our 5-year agreement. So next year, when we agree with it, it'll be our 5th year of the 5-year agreement.
10.25 data sharing and confidentiality agreements with Up Valley Family Center.
So this just solidifies what the agreements are related to sharing data around students. So it's meant to keep it confidential. It's meant to communicate information related to mental health services. But it doesn't go beyond Up Valley and it doesn't go beyond us. And that's what this agreement states.
Can I have a motion? A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 1026 Memorandum of Understanding with Napa County Library.
So I'm excited that this memorandum, what it does is it has a relationship with the Napa County Library, so that right now, if you are under 18, you have to go into the library with your parent in order to get a library card. What this will do is allow us to share our students' names and information with the Napa County Library, so that all they have to do is say, I'm a student at Calistoga, and they can check books out. And if they have a library card with their parents, that's great. But it just makes it a little bit seamless and a little bit easier. For example, when we do field trips in the summer or we do field trips during the year and kids go to the library, they just need to know information for Calistoga and they'll be able to check out a book.
And the information that's shared with the library is just their name.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And within this MOU, it has the data sharing agreement as well. And again, nothing goes beyond that.
Just want to make sure that's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay, that's great. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Oh, you can have it.
Indira, yeah, Indira. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 1028 lease amendment for the CES-TK project. I know. I run a very efficient meeting.
Yeah.
So this is the third and final GMP for the TK project. The first one was for the deep soil mixing. The second one was for the infrastructure to get us fire hydrant and other utilities. And this is everything else, the building, the hardscape, the playgrounds, all that.
Can I have a motion?
Getting there.
Laurel,
So moved.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 1029 purchase of CJSHS furniture for STEM building.
Okay,
And
so
plus-
the last board meeting, you approved the quote for furniture, but unfortunately Meteor had miscalculated the number of classrooms that they needed to buy furniture for this. So this is the updated quote with the 4 classrooms that they missed.
Can I have a motion?
I move to approve the purchase of the furniture.
Yeah, I think we need the furniture.
We did it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, 11.1 board member reports.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who was involved in the graduations last week. It's always such a joyful, fun week that the whole town is buzzing from, and seeing the, 6th grade graduation and then seeing the 12th graders graduate. And it's just, it's a wonderful event that the whole community comes out and supports. So I just want to thank everyone who was involved and everybody who came. And it was a little nostalgic being up there and then realizing that I was up there a long time ago when I got my diploma, but it was really fun hearing all of the kids talk about their genuine excitement to change the world. And I left feeling very hopeful. So it was a good week.
Anybody else? All right, our next board meeting is next week.
26, 5 p.m.
And then the next one after that's in August. 10 of future agenda items, summer program report, and
I have a question about
Yeah.
the August meetings. Is the August 4th one definite? Or is that still? Okay, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
The 18th. Okay.
cool. Sorry about
oh, no problem. Interrupted my flow, but.
that.
Okay, 10 of future agenda items, the summer program report and unaudited actuals. We have no need to reconvene to close session. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Efficiency.
I know, I'm so good. So good at this job.
This might be one of our shortest ones. Well done.
Good job.
Yep.
Let's try to break the record next week.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, next week I think might be the shortest one for sure.
I guess I get to go get.
Oh, that's Thursday.
It's not 8:30 yet.
Where are you?
I don't know. Calvin? So, I don't know.
Oh, same.
I know, well, I needed a home, but we took our trailer and just put all our refrigerator stuff in the trailer. So the trailer's got all the food up there. I'm only here till tomorrow.
You too.
Back up there.
Where's there?
We're camping in
We
Trinity.
go.
Laurel just cut into the chase. I'm ready to make a motion.
I was like, I don't.
Yeah, which is really, really cool.
Okay. Take care.
Bye, Rudy.
Yeah.
Have a good summer. Oh, and I'll see you next week. Killer place. This kid, he was a Trinidad Elementary School alumni,
Uh-huh.
purchased, I don't know how many acres, but
Me too.
have a good night. Totally rebuilt this crappy campground in the old days. Totally rebuilt it. It's beautiful. $70 a night for full hookups. See you later.
See you next week.
Hopefully that'll be a short one too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Trinidad's beautiful.
Oh my God, it's
I haven't
beautiful.
been up in.
It's beautiful. Well, I mean, and we haven't spent a lot of time at the campground because Bella had her graduation and Kiva had a performance. Stay, but. So that's why I want to go back up there because I want to spend a couple days up there.
Yeah, well.
Then we've got a wedding on Saturday and then we'll,
Eat out tonight.
I know, I don't, I just go to the hydro for it. But. So yeah,
You're
yeah.
good. You're good.
You guys gonna go anywhere while you're off?
I don't know. We used to go to Colorado, but we didn't buy plane tickets. It doesn't matter to me. I just drive. And then my wife's like, I don't want to drive. We didn't buy plane tickets. My son's like,
Yeah,
it's
now they're
every
probably
other year. We
expensive.
do every other year. This is the driving year.
Is it like a father like son kind of thing?
I don't know. Yeah, he likes to drive. You know, he just likes structure. And so he's like, every other year. We
Right.
always do every other year. This is the driving year. And I don't mind it. I mean, I'll leave like in the middle of the night and have you just everybody sleep.